what my index looks like. It's very specific. Index, witness, page number, exhibits. The witness's name would populate here, direct or cross-examination here, page number. The exhibit would populate here with the page number. Once you hit the command for making the index, that is what it would look like when it's created. I'm going to close out of that. I'm going to go into a transcript to show you how it would look in the transcript. This is a semi-edited transcript. So what turns on red here is the information that will be populated into the index once it's created. Right here, where it says index heading on in your reveal codes, the command to get that, F4, capital J, and the letter A. To turn it off, right here, index heading off, the command to get that is F4, lowercase j, A. Anything with a J in it, when you use the F4J command, that creates the witness's name. That's the heading on. This information here is part of the index. This is the heading, which is the J. This is the index, which you use the I format symbol for. In order to create this, it's F4, capital I, the letter A. Anything with the A is going to populate into this part of the index. The witness here is populated by the J commands, which is the F4 capital J, the lowercase a to turn it on, F4 lowercase j, A to turn it off. This part of it, the direct examination or cross-examination, is populated by the F4I command. So it's index on, this is heading. Heading is the J, which is the witness's name. The index part itself, direct examination, cross-examination, examination, redirect examination, would be turned on by the I. Turning on is the capital I, turning off is the lowercase I. Using the letter A after that is the direct examination and cross-examination. The exhibits are populated by F4I because it's still part of the index, but now you're using the B, lowercase b, for any exhibit. So if you went back to the transcript here, in order to turn this on, I would do the command of F4, capital I, lowercase a. Where I want to turn it off here, index off, which you see right here, is F4, lowercase I, and the letter A. Once I run the index at the end of the transcript, anything that's in red is going to show up into that index that I just showed you here. It's going to show up in here. So if you forget to turn it off here, say for instance, I don't turn it off, I'm going to delete this right here. Do you see how all the transcript turns red? That means that all of this would now be populated into the index, which you don't want to happen. So once again, I will do F4, lowercase I, the letter A. Do you see how it now went to black, which means it's turned off? These are all of my includes. And so into the includes, you can put, okay, so here's like the adverse witness. So do you see how this is an old format, but in here, the examination, if I turn on my reveal codes again, you will see that it says index on and then index off. So what you want to do is in your includes, you want to be able to put those in so that they're permanently in there. And each time you include them into a transcript, it automatically pops in. So like here, if I go to my cross-examination, do you see how it's red? If you go to your reveal codes, index on, there's not a command there, so that's why it's not turning off. So F4, lowercase I, A, there's the index off command. So if you insert those into all of your includes, they will automatically come up when you're in a transcript, just like this. When you go to populate your index at the beginning of the transcript, they will all come up. So if you want your index to appear on the second page, you have to put it onto this page. Otherwise, it's going to go at the end of the transcript, which I don't think anybody wants. We're supposed to be putting them on the second or third page of the transcript. So you have to put a command here in order for it to populate it here. So here's my format symbols. You'd go to format symbols right here, go to your index position, click it, and now it's here. You're not seeing it, but it's here. And then if I go to tools, index, build index, click on it, click OK. It's saying the 3 index positions were found. It was because I probably put it in before. And then it's going to build the index. And then this is what it looks like. I didn't do anything except have those commands in there. You could tell here the transcript wasn't totally edited, so I didn't put in by the attorney. It wasn't turned on here. But then this is how the exhibits look. I tried to put it on this simple index form that makes it really very easy to do. You can also go into, Case Catalyst has a build your own where you could start generating it totally on your own. You would go to help. Maybe it includes. All right, I did this yesterday to see how, because I never tried it before, so I tried generating one the way that they did. And you would go to System Files, Index Templates. These are the indexes that they have.
I might add too, I know on myself, when I do the index, I made a macro so I can highlight cross-examination by whoever, and then I hit my macro for that, and it automatically puts the index start and the index off for me. So if, like, while I'm writing, I forget to put that in there, then it'll automatically generate it for me.
Right, or you could just do it as an include even. If you put those commands before and after your includes, they will all automatically come up to turn them on and off. Okay, to put the exhibit portion in, it's the same command as the index itself. I'm going to go to the sheet that I created here. So here, basically on this Word document, it's telling you how to use how to make the simple index. So before the witness's name, it's F4, capital J, the letter A. After the witness's name, it's F4, lowercase j, the letter A. Those are for the heading on, so that's for the witness. For direct examination, cross-examination, redirect, in your transcript, you would hit F4, capital I, the lowercase a. So that's turning on the index for the examination by. After it, right here, you would hit the command F4 is the command for index off. For exhibits, the command is F4I, the letter B. B is what generates exhibits. A is what generates direct examination, cross-examination, redirect examination. When the transcript is finished, all of those commands are brought in. So when you go back to the transcript, you go to Tools, Index, Build Index. The first time it comes up, it's going to ask you what index template you want to use. So right here, you would browse to the index template that you're using. let's say instead of using mine, I'm going to use the sample one that is in there. I've never used this before, so I don't know how it'll generate. I'm going to hit open. You could go to your index template options. It's going to ignore certain things, warn me about information that's not found. These commands, you have to kind of go through and set them how you want them to be set. Now I'm going to hit OK to generate the index. Now it's telling me there were 2 index positions found. If you proceed, it will be built at the first one, which is on page 2. So that's okay. So anything that had the B after it is what's generated here. So I'll go into the transcript for where I put exhibit. There were no exhibits marked in this transcript. So I just highlighted putting ones in myself just for examples. Do you see here where this turned into red? If I do my reveal codes, see where it says index on B, index off B. All I hit here to make that happen was F4, capital letter I, lowercase b. And at the end of it, capital F4, lowercase I, lowercase b. By putting those commands in, that's what generated the index. It sounds much more difficult than it really is. Once you start doing it and putting those commands in, it'll just basically do it itself. The problem with it is if you don't turn these off, it's going to include, if I take this off, everything will be, after this turns red, and you will see that all of that would then be included in the exhibit if I regenerated it. To get the index on page 2, you're going to go to your format symbols, which is the FS at the top of your screen. So you go to format symbols. You could also set up a hotkey for this if you wanted to, but that would be in your keyboard mapping. So index position, it's right here. You would hit it where you want the index to be. So if I wanted the index to be on page, say I wanted it to be on page 15, wherever you put that command, if I put it right here, if I go to format symbols and hit index position, it's going to generate right here. So if I go to tools, again, index, build index, now I'm going to browse back to my own, Cheryl's index, open, and hit OK. It's going to say that there's more than one position found, but it's going to generate it at the very first one it found on page 4. And you see where the page numbers here are in orange. See how I didn't turn that, I forgot to turn that code off for the exhibits right here. I should have turned it off. Do you see how it included all of that testimony in there? So that index is definitely bad. So now I know that my index is bad. I would go back to tools, index, delete index, because that one is wrong. I need to go back to where that exhibit is. So I'm going to find where that exhibit is, that marker. Do you see here where I did not turn it off? I have to put in the command F4 lowercase I B. Now this turned into black letters again. That means that testimony is not going to be included into the index.
Do you add an include file for each witness or exhibit?
No. You just have your basic, I'm going to go back to my includes. Once you put it in to your includes, you won't ever have to put it again. As soon as you include for cross-examination or direct examination, if you use auto includes, that's going to come right into your transcript. It will be turned on and turned off wherever you designate for it to be turned on or off. If I go to my reveal codes here, index on, but see, again, there's an error here in my reveal codes. I need to turn it off, or all of that information is going to continue being highlighted red, and it's going to be generated into the index. So now I have to hit F4, lowercase I, and the letter A. See now here, index is off. If you put all of these commands into your includes, either when you auto include them or include them into the transcript, they will automatically generate in your index. So I'll go to another include, recross. The same thing. I'll turn on my, and once again, it is not turned off here. The reason I have them not turned off is because with my easy speakers, the name will pop up next to this. So it'll be, I would auto include that into the transcript as recross examination. That pops up. But now, if I want the witness, the attorney's name to show up here in the transcript. So I want the by Mr. Jones to also be included in my index. So what I would do is I would not have it turned off here, but in the transcript, I'll go back to this transcript. If I were to include here, redirect examination, and the include for that, do you see how here this came up red? This should be centered, and I don't know why it's not, but I want Ms. Tobias, by Ms. Tobias, to be included in that. I would, see now all this is turned on? I want it to be turned off here, F4, lowercase I, A. Now this is just like a fake transcript that I'm playing around with. But now, do you see when I generated my index, this would be generated as redirect examination by Ms. Tobias. It would all come up on that index. So wherever you turn it off at, that's why in my includes, I did not have a turn off here because I want this to be included as part of it.
Does it automatically delete any format symbols between direct examination and by Mr. Smith when it inserts into your index?
The format symbols should be in there. So if you have formatted this to be in all caps, it'll stay that way. But those won't come up. The format symbols will not come up in the index. Anything that's in these carets does not come up.
Are there sub-numbering codes in exhibits section in case you want to show exhibits introduced and then admitted?
Then you would make a separate entry code as C. If you do yours as entered and then admitted, that would then be, you have to change that B to a C and have a separate category on your actual index itself for that, which I don't have on mine because that's not the way I do them. If you went again to your system files and went to the index templates, my index template does not have that. It just, we only do it as when they would be admitted. You would have to put another column on here, and then that column would generate is the C. But you would have to divide this and put it however you want it. If you go into those other sample indexes, like maybe this sample index, this is sessions. Do you see how they have all sorts of different, this is like one of stenographs, pre-made ones. Everything on here in order would be A, B, C, and D to fill in those different, to fill in these different categories. A would be all the witnesses, their direct examination and cross-examination. B would then become exhibits. The letter C after that would become whatever you want it to be, admitted, rejected, however you want to, whatever else you want to put on that exhibit. We don't get into that much detail on ours. There's an index template wizard that Case Catalyst has. If you want to use the index that they have pre-done, mine is really very basic and simple, and it generates very easily. That's the one that I uploaded onto ShareFile, and you can download it to your desktop and then restore it into Case Catalyst, which makes it very easy. And then, like I said, apply your own layout to it so that it fits your format. of how you want it to be. And it's really a very simple index to be able to do.
So if you center your by Ms. Tobias in your transcript under direct examination, the center symbol would go in your index, and then that format symbol will have to be deleted there, or is there a way to keep the index from doing that?
That wouldn't happen. It doesn't matter that there's a format symbol in there. It should just generate with where the words are. You don't, if you go to your include for recross or redirect, you want that keep your reveal codes on when you're doing these the first time so that you see. You don't want it to be where you centered your paragraph for the by Ms. Tobias. You want that index on to be after that. You have to make sure that when you're putting that format symbol in, it's not by the centered paragraph, it's here before the word. Otherwise, that is going to happen. You want to make sure that this index on is after your command. Otherwise, that command is going to move it over in that index. So you want it to be your F4 IA would be turned on right there. Sure that your reveal codes are on when you're doing these, because that's the only thing that's going to tell you where these commands are. That's like your guide to everything is in the reveal codes. And any of these includes, you have to look at your reveal codes. I mean, and even as I'm looking at mine, see index on centered paragraph, it didn't seem to matter when I ran mine that came on before. When I ran the index, it was where it was supposed to be. So I think it eliminates them. But if someone's concerned about that, you need to flip-flop those two commands. Like you would need to delete the centered paragraph and put the index on right next to the recross. But I really think when you generate the index that doesn't matter. The index is on the share file. It's a zipped file folder. You'd have to download it to your desktop, and then you would go to restore. I'll show you how to do it. Cheryl's index. I'm going to download it over here, download it. I want to download it to my desktop. So I'm just going to hit OK. Now it popped up right here, Cheryl's index. I'd go to Case Catalyst and restore Cheryl's index. Click on that, open it, and just hit OK, and it'll go into my system files. I'm not going to do it because it's already there. So to generate it, I'm going to go to the top of the transcript where I want it. If I don't put in that command position, it'll generate at the end of the transcript, and that's not where we want it to be. I've already put that format symbol in for where I want it to be because I want it to be here after the appearances. I'm going to delete this one again. Tools, index, delete this one. And I'm going to go Tools, Index, Build Index. Cheryl's index is the one I browsed to here. Browse to it. Cheryl's index, open, hit OK. And it's telling me that there's 4 positions that are in there, so it's going to put it on the first one. So just by putting in those simple F4IA, F4IB, it has generated this index. That's all it took. It sounds way more complicated than it is. Just by putting those few commands in, this is what it generated. And if you follow the simple index that that is also on both ShareFile and I put it on WebHR also. You could go on there to get it.
There's
under, I think it's under Files.
Yeah, the Files folder and the CRS files on WebHR, you can get to that. There's a couple more questions. I want to make sure that you've either answered them or somebody's answered them. What about after the word examination and then you center the speaker? Does it center the second line in your index?
If you wanted direct examination to be one thing, and then you wanted Ms. Tobias to be in a separate spot, you have to make in your index, the index that you created yourself, or take mine and modify it, you have to make this another box by going to the formatting part of it. And then you would do this as the B instead of exhibits as the B, and you would turn your exhibits into C. Otherwise, it doesn't know. It takes the boxes like one at a time. So it does this as a box, like here how the page number is on here. That's another box. So you would have to generate another box in your index if you didn't want it to be by Miss Tobias like that. You can make it be however you want it to be. That's up to you. Whatever letter you use after the I, that's going to go into a separate box. By using B, that makes the exhibits. If you wanted to make this into a separate box, the direct examination, and then by Miss Tobias in a separate box, that would become your letter B after your format symbol. And then your exhibits would become C.
There's another question. If you notice you missed, for example, an exhibit in the populated index, do you have to delete the index, fix the left out exhibit, and then repopulate? Or if you fix it in the transcript, does the index automatically reflect the correction?
The only thing it will reflect change, do you see where these are orange? Your page numbers will automatically change if I move stuff down. You'd have to delete the index and repopulate it. Like, say, for instance, you did this as cross-examination and it was really examination by the court. You'd have to delete the index and redo it because it doesn't know to change this within here. So if I went and moved down something on the transcript, if I moved everything down 5 pages, I'm just going to hit a bunch of enters to move everything down. If you go back up to the index, these page numbers changed. They will change automatically. None of this will change. And the key to doing it is put those commands into your auto includes and try them out. Take a transcript that you've edited or, that it's already done, make a copy of it so you're not screwing up the original, and play around with it. You'll see when you generate it, you'll see, oh, gee, I don't want it to be that way. If you don't want your template to, you don't like the prints that I used on this, change it. If you don't want this underlined, change it. I really think that if you stick with this basic index and just modify it, maybe modify the type to be how you want it, you will love it because it's simple and easy. We don't need fancy indexes. I did this in italics. If you don't want it to be in italics, you would have to go into that index in the reveal codes. Once again, we're back to the reveal codes. Bold on, index on, table start, italics on, italics off. If you don't want that to appear in italics, all of that is here in the reveal codes. So if you don't like that I made this bold, work with the one I have. You're better off making corrections on this than trying to reinvent the wheel.
How many subcategories can you have? All the way to Z or more?
I think it's up to Z. I don't know why you'd want to have all those subcategories because every exhibit is still a B. Your exhibit number 2 is going to be still in the B category. I mean, if you're only doing witnesses and exhibits, you only need A and B. A is your witnesses, direct examination, cross-examination. All of those are still A. Redirect examination. What's within those brackets is what comes into here. So you don't need one for direct, one for cross. That is where you're placing those placeholders in the transcript. So you only really need A and B if you're doing witnesses and exhibits. Remember, J is the witness's name. That pops into here. So F4, capital J, before the witness's name, F4 lowercase j after the witness name is going to give you the witness's name. That's the heading is J. A with the I is direct examination, cross-examination, all of those things are still under A. Exhibits are under B. If you want to make a bunch of other things, I'm not really sure what else you would put in there other than if you want them admitted, to put like another category for admitted would be C, but I don't know how much further than that you would need to go with your letters. What is command for reveal codes? I'm not in Case Catalyst anymore. Reveal codes is up here, RC. reveal codes right here. I have a keyboard map down here that I use, and so I just hit insert, and my keyboard map comes up. You can also dock your keyboard map on the side here if you wanted by just grabbing it and docking it over to the side by doing this, and it would be docked on the side here. So while you're doing that, you can either pop it in or pop it out. But I don't keep my reveal codes up all the time. But these things here, you can keep your reveal codes as part of that. So reveal codes are right here, and then now they popped up on the side. I don't like them there though. I prefer mine to be on the bottom. So I would do hit here, and now they're on the bottom.
I see slow down in Cheryl's list, the word slow down. What does that do for you?
Oh, I think that is in my includes, and
Yeah.
that's in my real time.
Yeah.
And this pops up on my real time screen. Please ask counsel to slow down. Maximum real time speed has been exceeded. Record is being compromised. I mean, that's if you're writing real time for the judge. That's when I would use that.
Okay, so if you're writing real time for the judge and you wanted to throw a quick note in there for the judge.
I would, in my real time commands, I would write slow, slow, and that would pop up onto my feed that would be going to the judge.
Do you have to have a template, or do we just use our F4 formatting symbols and then it generates?
No, you have to have a template, because when you hit that build index, it asks you what index you want to use. So you have to either have your own, see right here, index, build index. You have to either have your own, or you're going to use one of the templates that Case Catalyst has given you, which by hitting browse, a bunch of them are going to pop up. Or you can make your own by doing that wizard. There are other templates in Case Catalyst. This is what that one, by using Case Catalyst, this is how that one came up. But see here, exhibit number, it came up in the description. I would have to play around with how they came in. Do you see here on the reveal codes? It's telling you where it went into. See where it says, see how this came in under description? Instead of, it should have been exhibit number 1 here and then the description here. So all that is stuff that you fill in when you're creating that initial template. But if you like this one better than the one I have, this is the one that you wanted to use, go back into the templates under system files and modify the Case Catalyst one to be what you want it to be. So here, the one that I just tried using was this one here. Modify it. Just go ahead and try them. Like I said, take a transcript that you've already done that has witness sworn and all of that in it. Put those commands in that I told you, before and after the witness, before and after the exhibits, before and after the direct cross-examination. Run that build index, try mine, try this one, and see what you like. Then if you notice in the one that, say you want to use that template one, the Case Catalyst provides you, but you really didn't like the lettering, the way it was done, modify it within the system files, the original one, modify it to be, say you want this bold or you want this underlined. Put those commands in for it to be bold or underlined, and then save it and use that index template.